Okay, so we are here in Langchain. We completed all the topics, whatever I have highlighted in red. Today, the agenda will be to see how to use memory, how to add memory to LLMs, or how to add memory to our applications. And we will create an application similar to ChatGPT. It is very interesting. It will be very interesting today. You will see how you'll get an idea about how ChatGPT will be working. And then we'll also discuss about what is Langsmith, how to actually debug or trace your applications. Also, I will show you how to use Langtrace also. There are two things, Langsmith and Langtrace. We'll discuss about these things. So today we'll be completing the discussion on memory and we'll create a chatbot similar to ChatGPT. We complete this part. The next part will be the interesting part, RAG, retrieval augmentation generation, again using Langchain only. So that's it. Let us get started. Okay. So what we understood was OpenAI. If I take OpenAI, OpenAI has the models running on their cloud. There are different models running on their cloud. And what they have done is they have exposed these models as an API. Basically, it is a REST API only. The client application, our code, will make an API call and tell which model to use. So the API will route the request to that particular model, get the output and give us. You know that APIs are stateless. That means once we give a request, it will give a response. It will not remember, the API will not remember the previous messages. So it is our application's responsibility to actually send list of all previous messages. Whenever my application is making another API call, it has to make a list of all messages and send it so that this time the model will understand, okay, these were the previous messages and current message. Based on this, it will return the response. Excuse me. Okay. So the main thing is the client application. That means our application is responsible for maintaining the memory. Let us see step by step with an example. Okay. So first we'll understand the concepts behind memory. Okay, I'll create 05 memory dot IPynb. Okay. The first thing I will do is I will select the kernel Siva BENV. Okay. Then first thing I will do is to load the .env. I'll copy paste.
Hey,
Yes.
Siva, can you make the whatever you're presenting as a full screen? Currently, I'm seeing both you and whatever your code as divided, right? So, is it possible, or is it some issue
Y-
from my end?
Yeah, that is from your end. You try to open in a new browser or as a guest. If you are opening in browser, that will solve the issue.
Okay, because okay, fine. Let me try. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I had the same issue. You can just try it in a guest window, a fresh link.
Okay. So everyone else is seeing only Shiva's whatever he is presenting, right? Not his. Uh,
Maybe I think you will see me in a separate at one corner, I guess.
no, I used to see
Yeah,
earlier, but today I'm seeing you also as a half screen. You have taken it, and the other
yes,
half.
yeah, the same with my side also.
Okay, I'll
For
switch off
me,
the video now. Now, how is it?
no, now also
No,
we are.
yeah, it's not a problem at your end, Shiva. It was individual's issue to individual. I had the same issue even
Now
earlier
it is
also.
fine. Now it is
Now it
fine.
is correct. Now it is solved.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So are you using browser or are you using app?
I am using browser.
Okay, better, I guess. Maybe if you can download the app. In app, it will be perfect.
Okay, okay, sure.
So the main intention is why I'm sharing my video is you should feel like I am talking to you. You should be able to see whenever. So that will be like more interactive. If I switch off my video, the interaction will be less. I feel like that.
No,
So
no,
for
Shiva, now
more,
also I'm able to see your video, but now it is smaller one. But few minutes back it was bigger one. It was taking half the screen.
maybe I think you can select my screen and then there are some settings, I guess.
Okay, okay.
Fine. Fine. So I loaded the .env and then let me create an object of chat OpenAI. I want to show you without memory how it works. Yes, I created an object of chat OpenAI and I am directly calling model.invoke and I'm passing a human message. I'm just saying, hi, I am Siva and printing the response content. Let us see. We'll just give a greeting. Welcome, Siva, or something like that. Why is it taking this much time? Yeah, maybe sometimes it was slow. Fine. I got nice to meet you, Siva. How can I assist you today? Suppose if I again send a second request to the same model, object, I'm asking what is my name. It is a new API call. I'm just passing only one message. I should get a response saying that I am sorry, but I do not have ability. So it is our responsibility to send a list of all messages. How I should have sent the next request is I should have added array of all the previous
Shiva,
messages. This is,
Shiva, Srinivasa
yeah.
here. One question. So the first question you said, my name is Shiva, right? Is the API that we are calling, is that not storing the session and keeping that information?
By default, any REST API is stateless. This is just an API. There is no session. For a web application, there will be a session. What are we doing right now? We are just making an API call. There is no web application right now, is it? So APIs are stateless.
Okay, that's why it doesn't.
If my application can be a web application which will store in session and can manage it, but this is just an API call.
I see.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
So if I have to send, in my application, I have to maintain a history of all the previous messages. This is the message and this is the AI message and then human message. Then I will get the response. Your name is Siva. So it is our responsibility, our application's responsibility to actually maintain list of all messages and send it. Okay. So right now I am actually invoking the model, right? Mostly what we will do is we will create a prompt template and then we will send the prompt through prompt template. So let me create that prompt template as well and see the difference, how the prompt template looks like. So this is my prompt template. I'm creating chat prompt template dot from messages, or even I can just write the constructor. Both are same. So I'm creating an object of chat prompt template and I'm passing array of messages right now. First message is system message. You are a helpful assistant. Answer all the questions to the best of your ability. And here starts the important thing. I am creating an object of message placeholder with variable messages. So this is a placeholder and this is variable name is messages. Fine. This is my prompt and there is only one variable called as messages. This is a placeholder which will hold list of all history messages. Now I'll create a chain using this prompt.
Shiva, are
Yeah.
we connected to the default model or something? Here we did not mention any model, right?
No. In the above, we created chat OpenAI. Okay, I didn't specify the model name.
Yeah, otherwise it will takes the default model and it chats
Ah.
more, right?
Yeah, correct. I forgot. GPT-4o mini. Yeah. Okay, good. Otherwise, it would charge me more. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So I initialized it. Okay. So we'll be using same model only. This is chat prompt template, and there's only one variable. Okay. Now, very important thing, many people will get confused. From now itself, I wanted you to make it as a habit. Whenever I'm creating a chain using a prompt, what I have to do whenever I'm invoking the chain, I have to give value for all the messages as a dictionary. There is only one variable here, messages. Still, I'm passing a dictionary. By invoking the chain, I'm passing a dictionary messages, and the value is, of course, an array with single element. Hi, I am Siva. Okay. So I got it. I got the response. I will print the response content. It will be same. Whatever we expect. Hello, Siva. How can I assist you? Fine. Now,
Sir,
what I
sorry to interrupt, can the font be made a little bigger?
want. Okay. Which
Yeah, thank you, sir.
is it okay? Okay.
Yeah, it's better. Yes, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Now, in this, right now, I'm passing only one element in this array, right? Messages is of type array, but I'm passing only one. Now, let me introduce you to an object called as chat message history, by using which we can maintain the history. Manually, I'll manage the history. I will create an object of chat message history. Okay. Then see, I got this response, right? The response I will add. First of all, let me do it step by step. I'll add chat message history dot add user message. I just wanted to add a user message. Hi, I am Siva. That's fine. Then whatever response I get, I will take it in a response. I'll be getting some, sorry, after adding message, it's fine. I will have to invoke, right? I'll have to invoke this chain dot invoke. Yeah, now see how I'm passing. Earlier I hard coded this. Right now what I'm doing is I'm creating an object of chat message history. In that message history, I'm adding a user message. And then if I call chat message history dot messages, whatever messages I would have added to chat message history will give it as an array. And I'm invoking this chain. I will take it in a variable response. Okay. I'll just print the response content. That's fine. Same thing. Instead of manually sending an array, I am maintaining in chat message history. Now see, now what I will do is, I will actually add the response as an AI message. So chat message history dot add AI message. Earlier I added user message. I got the response. The response with that response content, I am adding AI message in chat message history. And then I will add a user message. Chat message history what is my name? In this chat message history, I'm adding third message. First message is hi, I am Siva. Second message is AI message. Third message is what is my name? And now let me invoke the chain again. See, while invoking the chain, I'm calling chat message history dot messages. It will give all array of 3 messages. Now let us see the content. Yep, it is saying, right? So right now what we are doing is we are manually managing the chat history, chat message history. We are making sure that all the messages are added to chat message history, the first message, then AI message, then user message. And then while invoking the chain, I'm passing the list of all messages, right? Okay, but why should I manage all this manually? Now let me tell you the basic idea behind it. Let's assume that this is my model. That means model client object in my application. This is my application. And here is the API, the remote model API, which contains the actual model. So this is my model client, whatever I'm using in my application. Right now, what I was doing, I was calling a chain.invoke, right? Now let us, for some time, let us again think about a simple model. I want to invoke on model. Now what I will do is, if I can somehow wrap this model client in another runnable, which manages message history automatically, then it will be good. So I will wrap this model client in another object, which is of type runnable again. Runnable with message history. Of course, whenever I want to call invoke, if I want to call invoke, I need a runnable object, right? Model client was a runnable. That's fine. Now I want to wrap this inside runnable with message history, which will internally manage the history. Okay. Now what this runnable with message history has to do is there might be different users. If I'm deploying it as a chatbot, if I'm deploying my application as a chatbot. So for chatbot, there might be different users who will be making a call, right? For each user, it should maintain one chat history or not? Yes, right? So for each user, there should be one chat message history object. So what I want is I want this runnable with message history to maintain a dictionary of chat message history where the key should be a unique session ID and the value should be chat message history for that particular session ID. So if there are two users, two session IDs, two unique session IDs, and their corresponding chat message histories, they should be maintained by this runnable. So based on the user session ID, it should decide which chat message history to use. Oh, you're unable to see your screen. Somebody was not able to see my screen. Is it the case for others?
No, we can see.
You can see, right? Just a minute. Okay. Fine. So this is how it should be. Just a minute. So for each user, I want the runnable with message history to maintain a separate history. For each user, there should be a separate history, and based on the session ID, it should use a corresponding message history. This is the one. So how to actually create this runnable so that histories will be automatically managed? let us see the interesting part. I'll create a new code block. Okay. So what I want is a separate dictionary to be maintained, right? So I'll just keep store is equals to an empty dictionary initially. This is the session store. You can think of this. You can think of this store as my map or dictionary where I will store the histories. So initially I'll make it as an empty one. Now I will write a function def get session history, which will take a session ID and yeah. So you can see this logic which is automatically generated. Let it return chat message history. Yeah. So I wrote a function which will take session ID and it is checking if session ID not in store. That means if this is the first time this is getting called. If session ID not in store, it is creating a new object of chat message history and putting it in the dictionary and returning whatever is there in the dictionary. So this is a function which we will be using. Okay. I'll show you how to use this function next. Then what? I will create an object of a class called as runnable. It's also a runnable, which manages the message history. So what I will do is right now, I'll create a model with message history is equals to runnable with message history, and I'll pass the model and also the function get session history function. Okay. So the constructor of runnable with message history is a runnable with message history. Let us see the init function. Okay, it takes runnables as arguments and also get session history. Fine, I passed it. I created, or simply I can just do like this without using key value pairs. I created a runnable with message history like this. Okay. Then let me show you how to invoke it. How to invoke this is runnable, right? How to invoke it. So for invoking it, I will create a config object where I'll say session ID, the value is 1.
Shiva,
So this is, yeah.
I think I lost here. What is model?
Model is our LLM.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see that now. Okay.
Yeah, let me copy this if it is confusing. I'll copy it here again. This is a model object. I'm wrapping this model with runnable with message history, and I'm also passing this argument. Then how to invoke this runnable? Let us see. What I'll do is right now manually model with message history dot invoke and see here a model with message history. What I will do is right now. Sometimes if I take the help, it will give wrong help. Okay. Model with message history dot invoke, and then I'll pass array of messages. Then I have to pass config as well. What I will do is I'll just pass. I'll just create an object of human message is equals to content is equals to My name is Siva. Yeah. So I'm invoking it by passing my first message. Okay. I'll pass only the current message. My name is Siva. And I'm passing the config. Here in the config, session ID is equals to 1. Okay. So let me print the response content. Nice to meet you, Siva. Fine. Now, again, I will call on the same model with message history. I will ask, what is my name? Do you think it will tell me my name or it will tell sorry?
No.
Your name is Siva.
It will tell me.
Yeah. So what is happening behind the scenes when I call this? Okay. Let me draw a separate diagram. This is my model client object or model. I'm wrapping this with another object called as runnable with message history. And for this, what did I pass? I passed get session history function. This is a get session history function. So it also has a reference of get session history function. Okay. Whenever I'm invoking, what I am doing is I'm passing the current message. And also along with this, I am passing a configurable object. I am passing a config object where I am passing session ID equals to 1. So while invoking, I am passing session ID equals to 1 through the configurable object. Then what this runnable will do, it will call this function get session history. Initially, this get session history, if you see, initially the store is initialized with empty dictionary. So store is empty right now. Now, for the first time, whenever I'm calling with session ID equals to 1, what will happen? If this function is called session ID not in store, so a new chart message history object is created and it is added to the store. So what will happen? Session ID 1 with for 1, a new chat message history object is created and it is added to dictionary and that is returned. So now this chat message history will be used. So whenever I'm invoking, my name is Siva. First, what will happen? The runnable with message history, it will add the current message to this chat message history and then invoke the model with that message history. Whenever response comes, the response also is added as a AI message in this chat message history object. So we don't need to manually add user message into this chat message history and response as an AI message. This runnable with message history will automatically intercept the calls. It will add the user message and whenever response comes, it will be added as AI message in the chat message history. Okay, that is done. Now, second time, whenever I am invoking, if the session ID is same, second time, I asked what is my name, second time. If session ID is same, what will happen? Whenever I invoke on this runnable, it will call this get session history and pass session ID as 1. Now, is there, for session ID 1, is there an entry? Yes. It will retrieve the previous chat message history. So in this chat message history already, there was one user message and EI message. So same chart message history is loaded, is taken. And on that, one more user message is added. And then using that model is invoked. Okay. Now suppose if I pass if another request comes with session ID 2, what will happen? For session ID 2, there is no entry, right? So again, for session ID 2, an empty chat message history is created and that is used. So this runnable with message history, whatever I am creating, This is a wrapper of our actual model. Then whenever we are invoking on that runnable, we have to pass the config object in which we'll be passing the session ID. Hey, right now I'm hard coding the session because I'm not writing a web application. But in case of a web application, maybe this session ID can be a real session ID managed by the web application. Okay. Right now I'm hard coding. Okay, let me know if you have any queries till now. Is it clear? Two times I invoked.
Sure.
Now let me print model with message history dot get session history of 1 dot. This will give me message history dot messages. Let us see what all messages are there. Is it maintaining all the history of messages? First message is my name is Siva. Second message is AI message. Nice to meet you, Siva. Third message, what is my name? And fourth message, your name is Siva. Right? Yeah, tell me. Now, what is the question?
I thought of actually each one will give us a separate session ID, but I think everything will store under one session ID, right?
Right now, for everything, I just gave 1. Now, let me make it 2. Okay. And then I'll invoke. Yep. So here it is saying, now if I just call model with message history dot get session ID of 2 dot messages, there are only 2 messages. If I pass 1, there will be 4 messages. So for each session, it will be maintaining a separate chat history, chat message history. Yeah, Durga, tell me.
Yeah. So like what I didn't understand is like where exactly these are stored. Is like how come like what is the purpose of storing at the client side? See client. When I'm charting, I'm the only client. If someone else is charting, that is their browser, their application. So this sessions has to be there at the server level, not at the client level. I didn't get that point. Yeah.
Okay, wait. I got your point. See, right now, this is a API and there is a model. Right now, am I writing a web application and interacting through browser? No, this is just a code. There is no web server. Through code, I am making an API call directly. It is not through browser. Later, what we will do is we'll create a web application, and then through browser, where I'll have a chat UI through browser. If I interact for my browser, this web server is a client. This web application will maintain a chat message history. Of course, now this is a client to my API.
Yeah, client to the to the model, and then client to the server to the API.
Yes, server to the see. This is a web server to my browser.
Okay.
So here, of course, this is the application. Web application is what we are going to write finally later.
Okay, got it now. Yeah. So now actually here yeah, and now I got it now. So yeah.
Correct. So this is right now not a web application. Just directly we are making an API call to the model. Our application is maintaining.
Okay.
Right.
Now you're writing the middle piece. So that's the reason yeah.
Yeah. Correct. Got it. Right. So fine. Now we understood. What I will do is right now. Right now I directly wrapped this model with message history. Normally we will directly not use model. Let me modify it here. It is a little bit complex. This is my model object, model client object in my application. Normally what we do, we put a prompt in before the model and create a chain, right? The output of prompt will be given to model. Now this is a chain. The combining these two is a chain now. I have this chain, which is of course a runnable. Now I want to wrap this entire chain in runnable with message history. Earlier I wrapped only model. Now I want to create a chain of model and prompt, and then I want to wrap this with message history. Let us see what will be the difference in this case. Okay, we'll see the difference. Let me go here. Which? Okay, so I'll create a prompt first. While creating a prompt, let us see. This is my system prompt. Okay, I'm creating a chat prompt template. This is my system prompt where I am saying you are a helpful assistant. Answer all the questions to the best of your ability. And I'm passing. Second one is a message placeholder. The variable name, I'm giving something like this is a variable I want to contain the chat history. And the current message is a human message, which will be the input, whatever. So here in this chat prompt template, there are two variables, my chat history, which I'm saying that it should contain the chat history. And the current input, whatever we are giving, should be a human message. So there are two variables right now. And then what I will do is I'll create a chain using this. Okay. Now, how to invoke this chain? Now tell me, you have to tell me how to invoke this chain. If I have to invoke this chain manually, while invoking chain.invoke, how many variables I need to pass?
Two.
My chat history and input, two variables I need to pass if I'm invoking. Remember, whenever prompt comes first in the chain, whenever you are invoking the chain, you have to pass a dictionary which contains these two keys in this case, right? Fine. Now just understand that. Now what? This chain I want to wrap inside runnable with message history. So when I am doing that, let us see a small difference. You have to understand this difference and think about it. Let me do this. Runnable with message history. Earlier what I did, I passed model, right? Now I'll pass chain and this get session history. Okay. But actually in this chain, I use a prompt with my own keyword. This can be my input. This can be my chat history, whatever. These variable names I have to tell, is it? Okay, first of all, runnable with message history. I'll use the session history function also. Now I have to tell what is the history messages key. History key. History key is my chat history. It can be any variable name, right? My chat history or Siva chat history or anything. In this, my chat history is the key where history should be placed. Comma. Input key is my input. So like that, while creating runnable with message history, I have to tell the keys, which is the input key, which is the history key, right? Then I'll get this model with message history. Okay. Then I will copy paste these things. Model with message history dot invoke. Let me copy the config object. Yes, config session ID equals to, let us say 5. So I created a new runnable with message history and I'm passing session ID is equals to 5 and I'm invoking. Let us see. Hey, I got an error. Okay, very good. Now tell me what is the mistake I did. I wanted you to tell me I did a mistake.
We did not pass the variable.
Hey,
Okay.
here in this case, the prompt. We are using a prompt, right? We should pass a dictionary while invoking. We should pass a dictionary. Okay. So the thing is, whenever I'm invoking, I'll have to pass a dictionary, not like this. I have to pass a dictionary. And in the dictionary, I'll pass only the value for my input. My input and the value, what is, my name is Siva. Okay. Do I need to pass the value for my chart history? Actually, what? The value for my chart history will be automatically populated by this wrapper. So I don't need to pass. Now let me check. What is that? Again, expected mapping type as input to chart from template. I received a list. So wait. Did I create a model with message history dot invoke? Just a minute. Input messages. Okay. Okay. Did I mistake? Input messages key. This this is a one input messages key, not input key. If I take sometimes the suggestions, I might do a mistake. This is input messages key. Key name was I earlier gave input key. So that was a mistake. Now let me run. Hey, again I got an error. What is it saying? Input to chart prompt template is missing my chart history and input. Expected input and my chart history. Received my input. Again here. History messages key. That's a problem. I took the automatic things.
Above snippet was not rerun again.
Ah, okay. Did it? Okay. Maybe is it? Yeah, correct. Maybe I didn't rerun, I guess, after changing. Okay, fine. History messages key and my message input messages key. This is the things. Fine. Now it is, I'm getting this one. And now again, if I invoke, now let me just check what is the message history dot model with message history dot get session history of 5 dot messages. Only two things are there. My name is Siva and the AI message. Okay. Now what I will do is I will invoke again. What is my name? Now if I just get again history messages, see, your name is Siva, all are there. So this runnable with message history will maintain all his message history automatically. We can just invoke it as usual. We just have to pass a configurable object with the session ID as a key. Okay. Any doubts? Let me know.
Yeah, is there any case like where we have, if we have here we gave an input message key, right? If we have a list there, I mean, if we have multiple input parameters, input variables, like how do we give that time?
See, in your prompt template right now, I have only one. Suppose if this itself is a bigger bigger string with, let's say, 3.
Right.
Let's say, let me just take the previous one. Now I want to ask you. Suppose if this is a human message. Now tell me, how do I pass the values for all this
I'll pass
monthly income?
Dictionary, is it? I'll pass a dictionary with
See,
you.
here right now I'm passing only my input. Instead of my input, monthly income, monthly expenses, current savings. In this dictionary, I'll pass. This is a dictionary, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay. So when you are giving the key here, can you go to the key where we'll give the key, input key? Yeah, history messages key, comma, input.
Input messages key.
Right. So here input messages key, we just define everything, all those keys here in that case. Or this will be a dictionary.
Input messages key here. Let it be a placeholder. So in this case, what? I have to pass the entire input as one string only. Before invoking, I have to calculate all. Okay, I will tell you, okay, if it is a complex message in later part, we'll actually wrap this inside something else. We will see that. Yeah,
Okay.
I understood your question. Right now we are just passing only one, right? So
Right.
here there will be only one input messages key. In this itself will have the entire prompt. Okay, we will discuss about how to this. We'll wrap this inside something else later. Just
Okay,
wait
sir.
for a few more seconds, few more minutes.
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So fine. With whatever knowledge we gained, let us create a chat bot using this. It will be helpful. So I want to create a chat bot using Gradio. I'll import Gradio as gr and then quickly gr.chat interface. I just have to pass to chat interface a function. I'll call it as predict dot launch. I want to run it in the background, in the foreground with debug mode. Let us actually run with debug equals to true. And now I have to pass the predict function, right? I hope you remember how I created Gradio chatbot. We have to define this predict. Okay, so this predict function will take message, comma, history. Okay. Now here again, I will hard code the session ID as let us say 1. I'm hard coding it. Then I'll call the model here. Calling the model with message history dot invoke, and I'm passing only the current message. Current message dot content will give me the response content. And now whatever content I get, I will return response 1. Yeah. That's it. This predict method takes message. Using that message, we are invoking the model with message history and returning it simple. And then we are calling gr.chat interface. Okay, just give me a minute. My battery is low. I have to get my charger. Just give me a minute. I'll be back.
So, do you guys hear?
Yeah, we can hear.
No, just wait a minute. Actually, my charger. I'm setting up my charger. My battery is low. Okay, let's continue. So I launched this chat interface. Let us see. I'll run this. It's taking a little bit of time. Got an error. What is that?
Predict we are not passing.
Radio has no chat interface. Import Gradio. Oh, it is capital C. Okay. Now let me run. Yes, I'll get this URL. Click on it. Now I'll just tell my name is Siva. Oh, I got an error. Why error? Key error. Okay, missing my input. Okay, I did a mistake. Good that you made a mistake. See here, it has to be what? The key has to be my input, right? While creating the prompt, I gave my input. So here also I should make sure that it is my input. Okay, let me interrupt this.
So what about history, Shiva? Like, are we using that
History,
history?
we don't need to pass. The runnable will automatically take care of history. It'll keep the history. Okay, let me run again. Okay, my name is Siva. It's saying hello again. Hello again. I think it was maintaining already. One session ID 1, I think it is already having, I guess. Fine. What is my name? Your name is Siva. See, it remembered. So we created a simple chatbot using whatever we have learned. It was a very simple one. Okay, I hope it is clear.
Shiva, one question here. So memory, right? Is it gonna use the client memory, like the system device memory, to store? Because we are doing for a longer period of chart or a huge thing.
Of
how much
course, right?
How much information it can store?
It is all stored in memory because a very good question actually. This runnable with message history will be maintaining a store, right? I created initially store is empty. Store is an empty dictionary initially. So if one user connects, add one entry, let's say session ID is 1. And the value is chat message history, which can contain n number of chat messages. If there's one more user, again a chat message history. So like that, if there are 100 users, 100 entries will be there. For each user, there will be chat message history. Everything is in memory. So right now you have everything in memory. We can store this into a file or store this into a database, etc. See, suppose if you see ChatGPT, I'll go to my ChatGPT. Do you see here it is maintaining my previous 7 days conversations? Even
Yes.
previous 30 days conversations, it is definitely not maintaining in memory. It is storing all the conversations in database, right? I will develop a similar similar thing today with similar to ChatGPT we're developing, we're going to develop. Either we can store it in memory or it can be in database or wherever you want. We will see that. Right now in our code, it is still in memory.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So where are we maintaining still in memory? Actually, the function, this function here, let me copy it here so that everything will be at the same place. Yes, this is a function, and here store, we are maintaining a store is equals to empty. Initially, for the first time, it is an empty store. Whenever this function is called with session ID, and if session ID is not there in store, we are creating a chat message history. Right. Right now, this is in memory. You can actually persist to a file. Okay. Now let me take you to
Build a mechanism.
Langchain documentation. Yeah, tell me.
I'm saying, and we need to build a mechanism to clear the memory based on the scenarios. Like,
Yeah, of course. See, you need to maintain, let's say, that past 30 days messages. Then we have to make sure that after 30 days, the messages will be deleted from database also.
okay.
Yeah. So chat message history is in runnables. Wait. Chat message history is in Langchain.memory. In Langchain memory, you can see that there is a class called as base chat message history. And there are some deprecated things. Earlier, these were all used. Maybe, I guess, in community, there will be memory. There are actually memories related to file store also. Just give me a minute. I will exactly tell you. Community chat message histories. Yes, do you see here in chat message histories, there is Cassandra chat message history. Chat message history is backed by Cassandra. Cosmos DB chat message history, it is backed by Cosmos DB. AWS DynamoDB, file chat message history is stored in history in local file, Firestore. There are Kafka chat message history, chat messages will be stored in Kafka. Like that, there are different chat message histories, right? So right now, what am I using? I'm just using simple chat message history. Simple chat message history. It is in-memory chat message history. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
So that's it. Fine. Just give me a minute. Okay. Fine. Now, one more thing I want to tell you, a little bit confusing right now. Yeah, tell me.
In the first example of the runnable with message history, you had taken the model as an argument, right? And in the second one, you created a chain with model and the prompt as a this thing, right?
Yes, exactly. So for the first time, I created runnable with message history where I wrapped model directly inside message history object. Right. And then next time what I did, I create a chain of prompt template with model. And in this prompt, there are, whenever you're creating a prompt, you have to give a variable and tell where the chat message history should go. And the current input, where it should go. Then while creating a runnable with message history, you are passing, in this case, what is the history messages key? What is the input messages key?
Okay. So the second one is what would be the preferred option, right, to use?
Of course. We always use prompt template. Second option is the preferred one. Correct. Every time we will use a chat, we'll use a prompt template only.
Okay.
Yes, Som, I think you raised your hand. Is it like you are not able to down the hand or you have another question?
Yeah, I had a question, but I'll come at the end. It was more around the memory. I was looking at the Langchain.
Just wait, maybe you'll get an answer by today. Yes, Srinivas.
Yeah, Actually, if you go a little up,
Hmm.
yeah, here actually human, right? So message placeholder. We keep
Hmm.
talking about human and user. Uh,
Hmm.
what is the right actually, user or human? Sometimes we are
Actually,
giving human, sometimes we are giving user. So
okay. Actually, what according to OpenAI, there are three types of messages: system message, user message, assistant message. According to OpenAI APIs, it is user message. But in Langchain, instead of user message, we use human message. Human message is equivalent to user message of OpenAI. See, actually, finally, we are talking to which model? Finally, we are talking to OpenAI model. But in our code, we are using Langchain. According to Langchain, human message of Langchain will be translated to user message when the call is directly going to the model. And AI message of Langchain will be converted to assistant message when the call is going. That conversion will be taken care by Langchain. Human message is equivalent to user message. AI message is equivalent to assistant message. This conversion the Langchain will take care.
And
See,
my
because
observation is it is taking a user also. I think Langchain is accepting user also.
so Langchain is it if you do the mistake also Langchain they have written sometimes will be confusing. If you write user also, it will take it. They have done like that. Okay. It will accept. Even if you write user message in Langchain, still it will work. But actually it has to be a human message. Clear?
okay, sure.
Okay. So let us go ahead and see one more thing. According to ChatGPT, now as we are going to implement something similar to ChatGPT, in ChatGPT, I have logged in with my mail ID, right? So mail ID is one thing, and you can see there are a lot of conversations here. If I click on this conversation, do you see in this URL something like this? This is nothing but a conversation ID. So in my ChatGPT, I have multiple conversations. For each conversation, there is a unique conversation ID. So whenever I click any conversation, the request will go with the conversation ID and that conversation will be loaded. So internally, this ChatGPT is maintaining history based on two parameters. One is my email. Basically, it is using my email as session ID. So based on email and conversation ID, it is maintaining by using a combination of email and conversation ID, it is maintaining one chat message history. Right now, if I ask you, for example, let's take only previous 7 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 conversations are there, right? So just assume that there are only 9 conversations here. How many chat message histories will this ChatGPT be maintaining in the backend? Is it 9?
No, it will be many, right? For each of the conversations, there'll be
For
many
each
messages.
conversation, there will be one history. 9 conversations, 9 histories. Each history will be having multiple messages.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So in a real scenario, actually, we will need to maintain chat message history using a combination of, maybe in this case, in case of ChatGPT, it is using user email ID and conversation ID. So how to actually customize this? Let us say now I will actually create session history function again. The story is empty initially again. And here I modified my get session history to take user ID. It can be email or whatever. User ID is a string and conversation Now, if you see, I am checking a tuple. This is a tuple, right? In Python. I'm checking if user ID, comma, conversation ID tuple is there in store. If not, based on a combination of user ID and conversation ID, I am maintaining one chat message history. Okay. So I modified my get session history to take user ID and conversation ID. Okay. Now, let's assume that I will take the same chain again. I'll recreate it. Now let us see how to create a runnable with message history. Runnable with message history. Okay, whatever. Variable name, it is okay. Is equals to what? Chain, comma, get session history, comma, history messages key is my chat history, input messages key is this one. Now, how do I tell that this function takes a combination of user ID and conversation ID? For this history, this is a factory function, right? Which is actually creating sessions or history messages. So I need to tell the configuration for this as well by using something called as history factory config. History factory config. Let me take it new line here. Better. Okay, I will. History factory config. It's an array of configurable spec. And I will just write configurable spec of user ID and conversation ID. And yeah, or I can actually, instead of taking the default one, I'll just check here. ID is equals to user underscore ID, comma, type is equals to string. Yeah, here also ID is equals to conversation ID and type is equals to str. Yep. So I told when I'm creating this runnable with message history, I told that these are all the two configurable specifications fields. Okay. Then I will take this in a variable. Right. I'll take this in a variable. Yes. Now let us see what I have to do is very simple. I'll have to create a config object like this. Configurable. Earlier I had only session ID, right? Now I had to pass user ID and conversation ID. Then while invoking, it is the same. Like for example, I'll copy paste. While invoking, it is same. Yep. Model with messages tree.invoke. My input, I'm passing the value is Siva. And config object now is containing user ID is 1 and conversation ID is 1. Oh, what is that? What is it saying? Okay, very good. Every time I take some automatic suggestions, it is giving me, it is hitting me back. Actually, I had to give, instead of actually type is equals to str, I have to use something called as annotation is equals to str. It is equivalent to type definition. Now let me run this. Yes, it just told my name is Siva. And now if I just see the history model with message history, dot get session, and if I pass user ID 1 and conversation ID 1 dot messages, is it same? My name is Siva and Siva, nice to meet you, Siva. So like that, this is a way to create a runnable with message history using a combination of our custom specification. Like you can pass anything, right? Right now I passed, I want to maintain a session history based on user ID and conversation ID like this. Okay.
So Siva, here, when I do a invoke, right, I am just passing one variable, my input. The other variable, that is the my chat history, is passed by this runnable message history.
Yeah, because it will maintain the history, right? Automatically, this runnable with message history will get the corresponding chat message history from the store. And then whenever I invoke this runnable with message history, first it will add the current message to chat message history, and then it will invoke the model. When a response comes, automatically the response is added to chat message history and will be given the response. So this chat message history object is maintained by runnable with message history, and it will automatically add that list of messages for this variable. We don't need to pass while invoking. Before the messages go to model, automatically this wrapper is adding the history messages. We just need to pass a current message. That's the beauty, right? We don't need to manually maintain the entire history. This will take care.
Okay.
Okay.
Earlier, I remember you had shown some partial or something, right, while invoking. So
that also we can do. Like again, if I want to give partial values, we can do. But in this case, this runnable will maintain that.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the one. Now with this, with this information, let us build something similar to ChatGPT. Very interesting one. I'll build something similar to ChatGPT. Please listen carefully. Yeah, I'll create a Streamlit application similar to ChatGPT. Fine. Step by step, I will do it. I want to use Streamlit. So for making it a little bit fast, I'll copy paste. And then first thing I will do is I will load the .env. Then I will create a model object. Model is equals to chat OpenAI. Everything is normal. Now, I want to maintain the session store in session, the store in session. Earlier, I was maintaining in memory, right, directly. Now, see here what I am doing is if store is not there in Streamlit session state, I'm initializing the store as empty. So we'll maintain one store per session right now. Okay. And I want, see right now in my application, I don't want to use login. See, whereas in ChatGPT, we log in, we have a login functionality implemented. So the logged in user's mail ID can be used as user ID. And for every conversation ID will be maintained. Right now for my chatbot, I will not implement login functionality, but somehow I want user ID. Somehow I want a unique user ID. So what I will do is I will use UUID to generate a universally unique identifier. So what I am going to do is, see, I'm just writing some logic. If user underscore ID not in session state, I'm just initializing user ID with some random. So instead of me implementing login functionality, just I'm initializing user ID with some random UUID for the entire session. Okay. Then there can be multiple conversations, right? Multiple conversations identified by conversation ID. See, this is the conversation ID in ChatGPT. There can be multiple conversations. So I want to maintain all conversations in session in a variable. Yeah, see, if conversations not in session state, then I'm initializing conversations as an empty dictionary. I'll be right now maintaining all my conversations in memory. Instead of me in a real scenario, instead of me checking in session state, I could check this conversations in from database as well. Right now, I'm maintaining conversations in memory. Okay. So initializing conversations as empty. And also, what I want is somehow, whenever a user selects any conversation, this conversation ID, I want to maintain in session. The current conversation ID I want to maintain in session. Okay. So, and also, how many conversations are there? I also wanted to maintain the conversation counter also in session state. So let me initialize so that slowly we'll go into the code. If conversation counter is not there in session state, I'm using 1. Later I will increment. Okay. Then what I will do is if there is no current conversation, ID in session state, I want to create a new unique conversation ID. I want to create a new conversation ID, unique conversation ID. And see here, conversations is empty initially, right? So what I want to do in that conversations, that means st dot session state dot conversations of new conversation ID that I'm adding one entry into this conversation. I'm going to add what? Simply I want to maintain a conversation number and a messages inside that conversation. What is the conversation number? The current conversation counter. And what all messages are there? What all messages are there in the current conversation? I will maintain it. Right now it is empty. So if there is no current conversation ID in session state, that means the first time whenever I load, a new conversation ID is created. And I'm adding this into a dictionary. This is initially empty dictionary. For the first time, one entry will be added with a unique conversation ID and the value will be conversation number and messages is empty. Fine. And also what I will do is I'll store this current conversation ID in session. Only for the first time this will be true. Second time onwards, once it comes here, the current conversation ID is initialized, so it will not come into this. Only for the first time, it will come into this if. Okay, fine.
Siva, I did not understand what is the use of that counter, conversation counter.
Every time, whenever, suppose in the chat GPT, if I click on new chat, I'll increment the count and then I will show that counter on the UI. I'll be showing you this counter on the UI. What is the conversation 1, conversation 2, etc. I want to show you. See, right now in ChatGPT, what is it doing? It is actually creating one title for the conversation. What? Initially, I gave
becomes the thing, right?
Yeah.
My first message is actually showing up there, right? Something like that.
In this case, in ChatGPT, see, I asked yesterday something I was saying. Give me some math puzzles with medium complexity for 6th grade students. So based on first message, it is creating a title, right? ChatGPT is doing like this, but in my chatbot, I want to create something like I don't want to make it so complex. I want to say conversation 1, conversation 2, conversation 3 like that. So I am maintaining some counter variable. Okay.
Okay.
I could do like this as well, but to make it simple, I'll be maintaining a conversation. Fine. Now this get session history, whatever I wrote earlier, same function, get session history function I wrote, same whatever I used earlier, based on user ID and conversation ID. If a combination of this is not there in session store, it is creating a new chat message history and storing it and then returning it. This is same function, whatever I wrote, I'll be using this as well. Okay. So let us actually start writing the Streamlit UI. Step by step, we will write the Streamlit UI. Siva chatbot. Now, what I want is, I want a sidebar. With inside sidebar, I want to display something. With st.sidebar, in the sidebar, I want to have a subheader called as conversations. Okay. And I also want a new button. I want to add a button. I want to add a button called as, yeah.
One small question, Shiva. This one you are doing it a client side or server side, Shiva? The example.
Okay, let me give you a picture. In this case, this is the model which is exposed as an API.
Yeah.
I'm going to develop a Streamlit application. Streamlit means I'm going to develop a web server, web application.
Okay.
I'm going to write code for this web application so that later through browser, I'll hit this web application. And this web application is what I'm going to write. This is a client to the API.
Okay. Understand. And one small question. Normally we have cookies concept, right? So we are following the same pattern here, right? Meaning that J session ID. Normally in Java we say J session ID. So here similarly session ID we are creating.
In Streamlit, st.sessionState will be actually the session object.
Okay.
This is a session object which internally use cookies or whatever. It'll maintain one session per browser set per browser.
Okay. And what are the elements inside the session? For example, user ID, conversations. These are all the elements inside that session, is it? Meaning, what are the elements it store per session, Shiva?
No, see, whatever. See, session state is a dictionary. One session object will be maintained, which is a dictionary.
Okay.
In the dictionary, I am creating my own keys: store, user ID, conversation counter. These are all my own keys in the dictionary. So Streamlit will maintain one session object as a dictionary per session, maybe based on cookies or whatever. Whenever I call st.session, it will give me one session object, which is nothing but a dictionary.
Okay. Yeah, this helps. But one small thing, how do we know what are all the elements we can store in the session? Attributes, I mean.
We can store whatever, right? It is I can say my store.
Okay.
And wherever I'm using store, I could say my store. It's all my own variables. I didn't get your point.
Is there any limit, meaning size limitation on the session? Like you should store only this much data, and that limitations would be.
Again, everything is stored in memory, right? As long as memory is available, you can add a number of key value pairs or whatever you want. It is in memory, based on the memory of the system.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. So if I click on this button, see, this is the UI right now. I just created title, sidebar is inside sidebar. We have this button. And if somebody clicks this new conversation button, I want to start a new conversation. See, in ChatGPT, this is the button to start a new chat. Just like that, I want to add a button to initiate a new chat. If I click on this, see, I'm getting a new chat. Just like that, I wanted to create a new conversation. Okay. So let me show you the logic for creating a new conversation. I'll define this function. I'm defining this new conversation. What I will have to do is right now, yeah, I'll take this. I'm creating a new conversation ID because I'm creating a new conversation. I'm creating a new conversation ID, incrementing the counter, conversation counter, right? And in the conversations with this new conversation ID, I'm storing this. This is a this is a new conversation where messages is empty. Initially, whenever I start a new conversation, messages will be empty, and this is the conversation number which I am incrementing. And then the current conversation ID will be set as this new conversation ID. That's how I'm going to create a new conversation. This is the button. Okay. Then that's it. Right now, let me just display the UI only with this. I'll go to step by step. I'll write right now. I'll go to here. I'll just go to 03 Langchain Streamlit run 06 chatbot chatgpt.py. Streamlit is not. Oh, I need to activate the environment. So maybe /Siva venv scripts active. Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. So right now in the sidebar, let us see step by step. I will develop the UI. Give me another 15 minutes. I'll complete this. Today, I'll take a little bit of time. See, in the sidebar, I just add conversations. And if I click on this new conversation, a new conversation will be started. Right now, still I have to write some logic. Only this is a part which I wrote till now. Okay, now let us see step by step. We will add few more things here. Okay. In session state, we have conversations. Initially, it will be initialized with empty dictionary. For the first time, we are adding in this dictionary a new conversation ID, and this is the value for the first time. And every time, whenever I click on create new conversation, again, in that conversation, a new conversation is added, right? So these conversations will be having a number of entries. Conversation is a dictionary, n number of entries will be there, right? So what I want to do is I wanted to actually actually maintain a list of conversations. See this logic. I will just explain you. See this logic. st.session_state.conversations is a dictionary.items. I want to iterate over each dictionary item. The key is conversation ID and the value is the conversation data. Conversation data means this is the dictionary. This is a conversation data. Key is conversation ID and this is a conversation data. So I'm iterating through each item in this dictionary, getting conversation ID and conversation data. And while iterating, I'm actually iterating and preparing a list, right? So for each conversation ID, conversation item, I'm maintaining a tuple, the current conversation ID and comma conversation. And see here, conv data of number, what it will give me? The conversation number, is it? So this conversation list will contain a tuple, the current conversation ID and some string conversation. For the first one, it will be 1, second one, it will be 2, like that. This will be the list. And now using this, I wanted to create a select box. st.select box, select conversation. Yes. Select conversations and options is equals to select box. I want a drop down. Options is equals to, I want only conversation ID to be displayed. ID to be the conversation list. Yep. So I'm iterating through each conversation list. And then conv of 0 means what? Conversation ID. This is the options initialized with. And I will just write the other things step by step so that you will also understand. And then index. What is the currently selected index? Yeah, see here. It is interesting here. st.session_state.conversation.keys. It will give list of all the keys, right? Right? In conversations, what is the key? Conversation ID. We'll get list of all. And in that list, index of the current conversation ID. Index of the current conversation ID will be the index selector. This is the select box. Okay. Okay. Now, this whatever value we selected will be taking it inside selected conversation. Then if selected conversation is not equal to the current conversation, that means if you select a different conversation, if selected conversation not equals to the current conversation in the session state, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to initialize current conversation ID as selected conversation. That's it, simple. Okay, now let me go and okay, before that, let me go on rerun. See, actually there's a drop down. For the first time, there's only one conversation ID. One conversation ID is displayed. Here right now in the drop down, I'm selecting the conversation. Now, if I click on new conversation, see it is running. In the drop down, I can see new 2 conversations. I can select anyone, right? Right now, I'm just writing a logic for adding new conversations. On the right side, it still didn't write anything. If I click on this, again, a third conversation should be generated. Okay.
I thought here is what you wanted to display the counter, right? That's what
Counter.
was your
Yes.
idea,
Next
right?
step, I will do that. Right now, I'm displaying the conversation ID here. Later, I'll display it like conversation 1, conversation 2, etc. And then on the right side, whenever I select a conversation, I should display the entire history of that conversation here on the right side. Later, I'm going to write it. Right. So just for showing, giving clarity, what I wanted to do is within the sidebar, I wanted to add, I want to write something within the sidebar. Okay, so see here, the current conversation ID. I want to add a divider, sidebar divider, and I want to display the current user ID and current conversation ID. Let me just go and rerun this. Okay, see right now there are 3 conversations, right? What is the current selected one? C0F. If I switch this, C92. See, is it switching? C92. So once I select A1E, it is running, and now, hey, what? Again select. Okay, I think I didn't select A1E. See, the current conversation ID is changing. This user ID is anyways unique. So I just wrote a logic to display this drop down. And if I click on new conversation, automatically one more conversation is added. 4 conversations are there right now, right? So this is the logic which I developed till now. Okay. Now I want the current conversations. Okay, here the actual story starts. I want the current conversation. See, session state.conversations is a dictionary, right? This dictionary is containing what is the value for each conversation ID. This is a value. It contains number and messages. So I'm selecting the current conversation based on the current conversation ID. I'll get the current conversation, right? Now I will just write a prompt on the right side, a chat prompt. Very simple. We are almost done. So I'm writing a prompt. st.chat input, what's on your mind? And then here I'm creating config object with configurable user ID and conversation ID. Okay. And just wait. Now what I have to do is I have to, okay, let me just go ahead and refresh here. I think I didn't save it. Slowly on the right side, I am writing the content. Rerun. On the right side here, you can see what's on your mind. If I type something, the responses to chat should appear here, right? If I type something and press enter, I should send a message to chat GPT and then get the responses. So I want to write that logic right now. So for that, I need a prompt template, is it? First of all. I'll maintain it on the top. Here I'll maintain it. Yep, this is the chat prompt template, which will contain I'm creating a chat prompt template. This has to be imported. I'll import it. Maybe here itself. Fine. There is a chat prompt template like earlier. With my chat history and input. Fine. Then I want to create a chain using the model. Model, did I create model on the top? Yeah, model I created, chat OpenAI. I'll give model name is equals to GPT-4o-mini. Okay. So using the model and prompt, I created a chain. Then using this chain, I want to create runnable with message history. Is it? So here is the model with message history. I have to import all this. Runnable with the message history, I'll import. Configurable field spec, I'll import. Fine. This is same thing, whatever I told you, runnable with message history. Same thing, whatever I told you. Right? Why is it giving an error? Create new conversation. I think if I just close and open. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Fine. We are almost done. Just give me a minute. Now, I'll write a logic to actually handle this submit. If the prompt is submitted, right, I have to write a logic. If prompt, I have to write a logic. I want to write a function called as handle chart input. If prompt, that means if prompt is typed and entered, I want to call this function handle chart input, where I'll pass the prompt and the config. Now let me write this final function. We are almost done. Just write it. Handle chart input function. If I pass the prompt and config, see what am I doing? I'm getting the current conversation based on the current conversation ID. Okay, based on the current conversation ID, I'm getting it. Then to the current conversation, which will contain messages, I'm appending the role user and the current prompts. Then invoking the model with message history using the prompt. I'll get the result. And that is added to the current conversation. Right. So whenever I press enter, this is done. Now, what I will have to do is at the last, I want to iterate over each message. I want to iterate over each message in current conversation of messages, and I'm just printing the user role and content. That's it. We are done. Let us see. We are done. I'll just rerun. Yeah, right now only one conversation ID is there. I'll just tell me about Elon Musk in 2 sentences. So I started one conversation, and in this conversation, I asked about Elon Musk. Okay. Now there's only one conversation ID. If I select new conversation, yeah, new conversation is selected and the chart is not there. Here I'll ask, tell me about Steve Jobs in 2 bullet points. In this current conversation, it is talking about Steve Jobs. Now let me switch the conversation. I'll switch the conversation. Is it again pointing to Elon Musk and I can continue my chat? Again, I'll switch the conversation. I think I selected the same one. And now I'll switch the conversation. It's again switching to Steve Jobs, and I'm seeing the history, right? So for every conversation ID, I am maintaining list of messages, right? So if the selected conversation ID from the select box is not equal to current conversation ID, I'm just initializing in the state the current conversation ID is this one. And based on the current conversation ID, we'll get the current conversation. We're getting the current conversation based on the current conversation ID. Current conversation will have messages, and we're just displaying all the messages in the current conversation, right? So we developed something almost similar to ChatGPT, where I can have multiple conversations and I can switch between the conversations. Right now, all the conversations are in memory, right? Yeah, I think I don't want to take much of your time. Today was a bigger topic. Maybe if you go through it and practice, today I'll upload the code. I want you to go through this code. I'll have to-dos also. Try to practice by following the to-dos. Don't see the solution. Right? Maybe if you want, you can see the video again, how I have created this simple chatbot. Just go through the to-dos and try to complete it. You will get experience, right? So just want to show you how ChatGPT might be internally working, how they might be maintaining. Right now, I'm storing the conversations in memory, but in ChatGPT, they'll be storing these conversations in database. So I showed you, instead of maintaining chat message history in memory, you can maintain it in Cassandra or Cosmos DB or whatever. There are multiple chat message history implementations. Based on whatever chat message history implementation you use. Here, if you see, where is it? Where's the function where I'm maintaining this chat history? Here in this case, I'm creating chat message history. It is in memory. If I want it to be stored in somewhere else for longer term, maybe I want to store it in Kafka. I can store that chat message history in Kafka, Redis, Rocket Set, whatever. There are multiple implementations. If you want to store it in database, there is SQL chat message history. Instead of you returning a normal chat message history object, you can just create an object of SQL chat message history. That's it. Everything will be stored in database. Okay.
Shiva, one small question, Shiva. Basically, the regarding that message, right? Conversation messages, as where we are seeing whether this message is already part of session or not. In that comparison, as each time LLM will generate dynamic messages, right, Shiva? So, meaning in this example, we're just trying to understand like how do we connect that the current message is related to the previous session.
Right now, see here, I'm creating a config object with user ID and conversation ID.
Yeah.
Current, based on the logged in user ID and current conversation ID, I'm preparing the config object. And that using that config object, you can see I'm using model with message history dot invoke. I'm passing this config object. So here I'm maintaining. So in a real scenario, this user ID will be the logged in user ID.
Okay.
And this current conversation ID will be the selected conversation, whatever you select. In a real scenario, if we implement logging, this could be email ID, which will be dynamically initialized.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that's all. I think maybe if it was too much, I will revise tomorrow as well. I'll make you confident. And in the meantime, I wanted you to take effort to go through the exercise, whatever I'll upload. I'll see you tomorrow.